Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program .25. This economic boom here. So in the last episode of KSP we finished off our Moho series by getting the guys back to Kerbin just in time. Or I guess I shouldn't say just in time. They had just enough fuel though. And so now here we are at a new day as dawn approaches the KSC here. And let's go ahead and check out the administrative building, because I have some things we need to figure out here. So since our last mission basically wiped our funds, we had about twice as much as I feel like last mission, but we had to send a rescue boat out to Moho, which did cost us basically twice the amount of money the original mission was going to cost. So I'm going to go over here to Mortimer, the sweaty businessman here, and we're going to have to set up some of these commitments here to get more money. Now, we already pretty much maxed out the science tree, so I'm not really too concerned about sacrificing a little science to get more money. So in fact, we're going to commit to this one. Setup cost is 1,500. It'll give you 9 funds for every 1 unit of science. So you get basically a bonus of 50%. The money you get. So I might commit to that at about 60%. That sounds pretty good. So go ahead and accept that strategy. Yes, this way we'll get a little more money every time we get science. And also, we might do this one too, because this one takes your reputation. We already, as you can see, we're already pretty much maxed out on reputation. So let's go ahead and commit to this one, maybe 70%. So it'll cost us 358, which is going to barely even be a ding at all. And for every reputation, it gives us 8.4 times the funds. I think that's what that is. So we will go ahead and just accept that strategy as well. So this should really boost our money up. Again, I'm not worried about Linus here, because we pretty much maxed out the science tree anyways. And Walt, we really don't need reputation or science or anything like that. And again, we don't really need him too much. So I think we're going to stick with this kind of setup right here. This should be good for us to get more money incoming. Next order of business, let's go over to the science tree. And yes, I think this is the episode where we can finally say that the science tree is complete. Because, bam, there we go. So that is it, folks. That's the mission or one of the mission parameters we originally set out for in this this Kerbal Space Program career mode, was to finish the entire science tree, and it took us all the way to .25 to get it, but we did it. We've completed the science tree. With that last bit of science, we are now able to, I guess, use very large rover wheels, which I'm sure at some point we'll go and build a rover, bring it to Duna or something, the Duna rover. But yes, we can now use every single part in the game. That's very exciting. So let's go on back. Actually, let's take a look at the archives before we do that. So now we have Moho Science. Very good. Some of them aren't like fully completed because we had to send some of the data back. But for the most part, we have gotten most of the science over Moho. Eve, we've gotten a lot of it done with the Moon Gilly. Of course, we missed a couple of these things because there was a dope during the Eve mission coming back. We kind of screwed up a little bit. That's okay. Got a lot of data from Kerbin. Lots and lots of data. Moon 2. Lots of Moon data. Lots of Minmus data. Duna, we've got quite a bit of data on, including Ike. Dres. We got nothing from Dres. So I think that might actually be our next target. This little, I guess you could call it a planetoid. It's probably smaller than the other planets, but it's not small enough to be considered an asteroid, I guess. And it's somewhere between Duna and Jewel. It's hanging out in between those two rocks. Just a little rock floating on its own. But we'll get back to Dres in a bit. So Jewel, we have gone to Bob and Tylo. We still haven't gotten to Lath, Vol, or Tylo. So, did I say Bob and Tylo? Bob and Pol we've gone to. Tylo and Vol are going to be definitely a couple of missions, and Lath, I have something special planned for Lath. And then, of course, Elu, which is the furthest planet out. I guess it's supposed to be kind of like Pluto. Of course, it doesn't have Char on its moon, but that's okay. Oh, and the sun. We can't forget about the sun. We definitely have to have a low sun orbiter. So all these things are to come in the next couple episodes. But for now, let's go out here let's go to our contract window and let's pick our next contract, basically, which here it is. Explore Dres. So let's take a look. We will achieve orbit around Dres, and you can see the bonuses here. Now 54 reputation. I wonder if that means it's going to subtract 126 from that? Is that what that means? So we're going to actually lose reputation by going there. I think that's what that means. Like, I don't think that's a percentage. Huh. And we're going to lose a bit of science from it. I wonder, can you get negative science? Like, will we actually lose science from that? I'm not really sure what that basically means, but I guess we'll find out, right? But let's take a look at the money. We will get an extra 1,000 basically for every one of these. We'll get science from around Dres. We'll land on Dres, and we'll get science from the surface of Dres, because they definitely want to get down there with a manned crew. All in all, we should get a whopping 320,000 plus an extra 5,000 for going there. But is this saying we're gonna lose 630? That can't be right, because I figure, why would you want to lose so much reputation just to gain a couple thousand extra bucks? I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens when we get there. But for now, I guess we'll accept that contract. These are like basically the last 4 places that we have to go to after this one. So we'll go back out. And the rest of these are just kind of, you know, silly little things, testing parts. I'm so done testing parts. I just don't have I don't have the patience for doing that kind of stuff. It was really kind of tedious and annoying. If you watched the early my early .24 series, it was kind of tedious. But anyways, let's go back out. Let's take a look in this building here. We'll go take a look at Dres. Now if you zoom out a bit, Dres is this brown body right here, and like I said, it's past the orbit of Duna, but not quite to Jewel. Let's take a look what it looks like. It is rather small. Rather small and unremarkable. It kind of reminds me of like a moon, like a large moon, like Tylo almost. But let's take a look at the stats. Very small planets, yes. It was the first planet considered to be a dwarf. Its orbit is highly irregular, and together with its size, it took a long time to discover, since half the time it was not where scientists expected to find a planet. Due to its nature of frequenting the bad parts of space, this dwarf planet was officially labeled as not to be trusted by the scientific community. That almost sounds like the story of Pluto, but I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be Pluto. Anyway, yeah, the orbit is basically, it is a little bit inclined. It's a little wacky to get there. We're gonna have to definitely do an inclination change to get out there, but it's not too bad. It's like, it might be worse than Moho. I'm not really sure, but we'll see when we get there. Let's take a look at the actual stats for the planet, though. Mass, yep. Gravity is 0.115. And I believe is that heavier than Moho? I'm not really sure. Let's check Moho. What was Moho again? No, I don't want the Moho refueler. I want Moho itself. Moho itself, 0.2. Yes, so Moho is actually heavier. Okay. 0.275. This one is 0.115. So it's about half as heavy as Moho. So we can actually probably use the Moho lander to get on this little planet. Not too bad. Looks like the astronomer's visual pack hasn't really done anything remarkable to this planet, but that's not really its fault. It's kind of an unremarkable place. I think I recall going here maybe once. I sent a probe here once a long, long time ago, and there's really nothing remarkable about it, but I kind of want the science from the surface and all the orbital science, and to just put a check mark next to this planetary body as having visited there. So let's go back out, and we'll begin. I'll begin constructing a ship that we can use to take to Dres. So let's go check it out. Alright, so here's basically what I've done. I've basically loaded in the Moho Explorer Mark II. I made some subtle changes to the top part. The original design did not have an SAS unit, which almost bit me on the ass in the last mission because when I tried to land, it almost toppled over. And also, it just created some extra issues not having that SAS unit there. So I've stuck an SAS unit on there, but essentially this is the same top part as the Moho design. You know, the twin LT-45 engines here with double science on the top, double goo containers, and a standard set of 4 science over here. Coming down underneath it, again clamped on with Clampatron Senior, we have the same droid, what do you call that, robot pod over here, so that when we get to Dres, these two can disconnect and this top part can go down to the surface to let the guys out, stretch their legs, and do some extra science, which then we will re-rendezvous with once we get back into space again. The service module itself, same design, twin atomic engines with a little extra fuel at the bottom just for a little more delta V, solar panels and whatnot. So this, again, this will be our payload. So what I have modified also is the lifter. This is essentially the same lifter as the Moho design, only those outer couple stages that looked so cool and they separated are no longer attached, only because I felt like we don't need quite as much delta V. I kind of looked at this, I found this delta V map calculator online, and it's a little complicated to use, but I think if I did this correctly, it should only take about 13,000 meters per second of delta V to get all the way to Dres, land on the planet, explore the planet, get back into space, and get home, with the inclination change, of course, that we have to do in the middle also. So if I'm correct about that, we're leaving a window of an extra 2,000 meters per second in the tanks, unless I've seriously missed something, and in which case we're screwed. But of course, we could always send a refueler out if I did mess that up. So that's the basic design we're going to use. Again, I've gotten rid of the outer parts. It's just now our standard asparagus setup with a set of boosters on the side, just for a good measure. I'm not going to bother putting parachutes on these. I don't think I have to, because I'm pretty sure that by the time these things start separating, they will be far enough away from the space center to where they won't come crashing down on top of any of the buildings. If that does happen, oops. Basically, I've kept the action groups the same. I don't think I changed anything from them. Custom 1 is solar panels on the lander. Custom 2 is the solar panels on the command or service module. Crew, let's see. We want to get Jeb and Bill out of there. I think last time Bill went with one of the other guys, Thomden. So let's get a new guy. Let's get Matlorf back on the scene. Matlorf was the Kerbal that we originally rescued in episode 5 from stranded in orbit. And let's take along on here Bob this time. I believe we had Bill and Thomden. Let's take Bob along for a little ride with us. So that'll be our crew, Matlorf and Bob. We'll have one veteran and one sort of newbie, and that should be basically good enough. Again, we're going to have a total of 15,819 meters per second, which should hopefully be enough delta V to get all the way out there, land, and get all the way back. So, again, I've never done this mission before, so this is going to be a first for all of us. So let's go to the launch pad. And we will, yes, recover the time waster, of course, which we will get diddly from. Of course, we'll need to put the time waster back on the launch pad again once we get this thing into space. I think my new thing is going to be setting phase angles up when we're already in orbit. I kind of don't like setting it up first because the phase angle will change by the time you get from the ground up into space again. So that's how we'll do it. We'll launch first, and then we'll change the phase angles once we're up there. So here we've got a nice early morning launch. There's some kind of debris out there. I'm not really sure what it is. We can always pick that up later. But there's Bob and Matlorf all ready to go on the launch pad. Let's hit the SAS, and we'll get this thing throttled up to a little over 2/3. So here we go. Oof, she is heavy. Let's boost it up a little bit more just for now. And there's the moon right there. And oh, there's Minmus right next to it. Got like almost a kind of moon alignment going on there. That's pretty exciting. So this thing is outputting a monstrous 2.6 or 26.3. I think that's meganewtons or millinewtons. I'm not sure. Probably meganewtons. Meganewtons of thrust. Lots of thrust. Current thrust rate ratio is 2. Actually, at throttle 1.8. 1.9 says we lose fuel. The thrust rate ratio will continue to go up higher and higher. Oh, you know what I just realized? Oh, crap. Our staging is wrong. Let's see if I can do this on the fly. Oh, man. I realized that I didn't put the, these things are completely staged wrong. Oh, God, this might be a disaster. That one's correct. That one's correct. That one's correct. Woof, okay. These were up here in that stage. That would have been very, very bad for us. Oh, I didn't put any parachutes on these either. Oh, boy. Let's just start turning, and maybe by the time we get... maybe we'll move over enough to where these things won't come crashing down and hurt anything. Completely forgot to put parachutes on these things. How silly of me! Let's let them go. Maybe it'll be alright. God, doesn't look like it. Oh gosh. Let's see, where are they gonna land? Can we see? Ah, no, yeah, they'll be fine. They're gonna fall over there. I think we'll be alright. And while we're here, we might as well let these things go as well. Which should, again, hopefully land somewhere out to sea. We keep pushing this thing over. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. He's, yeah, see, they're gonna move out this way. Hopefully. Hoping they don't come crashing down on top of our nice buildings there. That would be very sad for us, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be pretty awesome, but we wouldn't actually get to see the awesomeness, unfortunately. It would just suck. We would later on see how awful it was. And here we are ready to stage again. Oof, whoa. Alright, again, we gotta watch out for that overheating because those Sepratron engines will tend to destroy these engines as they separate. We'll just keep pushing this thing over. Hopefully none of these engines will get destroyed. That would be quite sad. Let's take a look at our angle here. We are still a little steep. I'm just going to push this thing a little further over to the right, and that should set us for some more lateral velocity. Apoapsis is already at 41. I'm just going to keep pushing her over. We've hit that point in the atmosphere now where there's no more smoke coming out of the engines. The air is getting thinner up here. And man, those clouds look nice, don't they? Just jetting across the Kerbal landscape here. There's a nice screenshot right there for you. Just keep pushing this thing out. Chasing that prograde vector. Apoapsis is 51 and rising. Very good. I think we'll just keep it at this current vector for now. Accelerating at a good 2 Gs, it looks like. Almost, 1.99. There's 2 Gs right there for you. The surface tab tends to tell you how many Gs you're at. Pushing that Apoapsis further and higher. We're just going to keep pushing this ship more to the horizon. There's Bob and Matt Lorf hanging out. They seem alright so far. So we should have this whole center stack all said and done. It'd be great if we could keep a little more of this fuel, but I don't know. Apoapsis 88. Got another 15 seconds left in this engine. Alright, we've hit 100. Very good. Very, very good. So we'll just pop this maneuver here. Shouldn't take too much longer. Yeah, only another basically 240 meters per second. There's a lot of space debris floating around Kerbin here. One of these days I might smack right into it. But actually the chances of that happening are extremely slim. Very, very rare that would actually happen. Alright, so we're almost out of the atmosphere now. Just another 500 meters. Boom. We are there. So let's go ahead and get these panels out. There they come. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, so we'll just... pushing D right now, and it's barely wanting to go. I'm going to use a little RCS, maybe that'll help us out a little bit. Just to get us onto that movement vector here. The maneuver node. It's almost there. And there we have it. So let's just do a little time warp. It's only going to be 8 seconds, which will basically use up these 2 boosters here as we rise higher and higher over Kerbin. Getting there now. Okay, I think we'll burn it 4 seconds. That should do us. There we go. Light these bad boys up. Finish the orbit. Alright. Only 58 meters per second left in those things, so what I think I might do is just let them go. Yeah, we have just vapors, down to vapors in this, so let's let them go. Just push ourselves away from it a little bit. How cool is that? Very nice. Very, very cool. Wonder if those things are going to deorbit themselves. I highly doubt it. Yeah, they're going to basically stay in that 100-kilometer orbit, which is where most of my debris hangs out, just because that's usually the orbit I choose to go at. But, yes, we have 2 huge full tanks of gas left in this one, along with all the gas up here. We have approximately 3,100 meters per second to mess around with, so that should be enough fuel to push us all the way out to Dres, along with make our inclination change. I'm just kind of curious. I guess it won't tell us how far off the ecliptic it is, unless maybe we do the rendezvous tab. Let's take a look. Sociobody, Dres, angle to prograde, relative inclination 5 degrees. So that's not quite as harsh as Moho's. Moho's was 7 degrees. This is only a 5-degree change. So I'm going to guess it's going to cost somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 meters per second to correct that one. Coupled with the burn it's going to take to get out there, which should only be about, I think it was 1,300 meters per second. I think we're going to have enough fuel to make the burn and the correction with this massive fuel tank, leaving us all this delicious fuel up here to do anything else we need to do. But that'll be for the next episode, so I hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching.